Morning folks, we're back. M&P Cardiff, in particular Cardiff Bay BMW Motorrad. There's outfitters down the back, Ducati and Harley Davidson over there. Now I've done a walk around of the BMW showroom the other day on my review of this bike here, the Royal Enfield 350 Meteor, so you can have a look at the shop, have a look at that review. If I get clever, I'll put a little card thing up in the corner of the screen. There's some of these bikes out here for demo. I'm looking at taking this out today. KTM 390. I presume it's like the adventure version because I know nothing about it. Never ridden a KTM. So it will be interesting as this is the comparison, or similar bike, to my Royal Enfield Himalayan. So it'd be interesting to see what a difference it is. This is obviously far superior bike, better suspension, etc. And it costs a lot more. But it's going to be interesting. Funny enough, there's my Himalayan hiding over there. So, right, let me go and sort out some paperwork and stuff with the powers that be in the shop. And we'll get back to you. See you in a bit. Right, one of the things I've said all along is you should never compare the KTM 390 Adventure to the Royal Enfield Himalayan because they are in completely different categories. I've compared them in this video. Sorry, but I couldn't help it. I own a Himalayan and I want to see what they were like. Here's my views, and they are only my views. Make up your own mind. Cheers. And once again, the camera and my audio decided to play silly sods. So the videos can be a little bit mixed up. I'm going to start off with a little bit of riding footage, probably a bit of music, and then we'll see how the video goes. Bit of a walk around and some more riding. Hopefully with some actual commentary while I'm riding instead of me doing voiceovers. Anyway, enjoy. Right folks, KTM 390. Nice little bike. So I've been riding for a short while on this thing. And I've got to be honest, I find it quite a hard ride. Suspension I've checked, it is adjustable, but it seems to be set at a reasonable level. It's not overly stiff. And for an adventure bike, I find it quite a hard ride. That's just me, and the seat's quite hard as well. Tyres look like they'd be pretty good to a mild degree of off-roading. Nothing too serious. But it's a comfy enough bike. It is very tall. It's what we got? We got 33.6 or 855mm seat height. Well, I'm only 30-inch inside leg, so I'm struggling a bit with the height. Right, the bike itself is a single-cylinder, double overhead cam, 375cc engine. It's got 43.5 horsepower at 9,500 RPM. And 35.3 Newton meters torque at 9,500 RPM. The 6-speed box. Bike weighs in 158 kilos and it's got a 14-litre fuel tank. Now the on-the-road price starts, I presume, and no doubt there's extras you can add on, at £5,849. Please double check these figures and stuff yourself because that's what I believe the shop is selling it at, M&P's. But obviously do go check for yourself. Now in comparison, my Royal Enfield Himalayan, brand new on the road, is currently at £4,699 start price. That's what, £1,500 difference. And I gotta be honest, of the two I actually prefer the Himalayan myself. I'm not saying I'm right, but it's just my preference. It's a really nice bike, goes well, lots of information on the dashboard, as I will show you now. Switch her on, get the usual KTM race to race. There we go. Trip meters, date, well, battery level, that's handy. You have a fuel gauge, temperature gauge, rev counter, or tacho, whatever you want to call it, speedo, and it does actually show you which gear you're in once the engine's running. There are various adjustments you can make to that. I haven't really gone into it much. It's something you look into yourself. But I mean, the basic dash shows everything that you need. You don't need anything else more on there. Shut that off, save the battery as it were. You have adjustable suspension on the front. I'm presuming one's preload, one's rebound. And the rear spring is preload adjustable up in there. I say it's set quite low, but it's very stiff. Now whether that will soften up with time, I don't know. But I find it a bit too hard for an adventure bike. A road bike, yes. Adventure bike, no, I'd expect it a bit softer. Again, just my opinion. Handguards, great. Not sure how much of an impact they'd take because they appear to be just plastic. So if you're going to do a serious off-road, I'd put something like bush guards on. Mirrors, they work. I'm not a fan of them, I've got to be honest. Now the screen doesn't cause a lot of wind blast on you. I get no more wind blast on this than I do on my 1200R BMW, which is a naked BMW. And I'm even wearing an adventure lid. Oh, I haven't really gone much over about 40 mile an hour yet. So we'll see as we pick up the pace later. You can fit rack, luggage, etc. if you really want to. It's a lovely bike. Nothing wrong with it. A lot of people compare this to the Himalayan, which as you know I own. As I say, personally, I would choose the Himalayan. For the price and the fact that I can actually touch a floor in the Himalayan makes a big difference to me. Doesn't mean you'll be the same. You know, this is a far better bike. It's got better build quality, better equipment on it. The Himalayan is built to a budget. It's an affordable budget bike. KTMs are not. KTM do have vast amounts of experience with off-road. So obviously this is a superior bike for an off-road bike. My personal choice is the Himalayan. Yours will be different, obviously. What I suggest you do is you test ride one of these if you quite fancy one. If you're unsure, test ride this and the Himalayan. See what you think. I find this one very, very revvy. I was in fourth gear at 30 mile an hour and it was 3,500 RPM. In third gear you're over 4,000 RPM and you get a fair bit of vibration through the handlebars at that pace. So for me personally, it's not doing it. I find the ride too hard, too stiff. Handles beautifully, rides lovely, nothing wrong with that. But I find the suspension is too stiff, the vibration is too high, and it revs way too high for my liking. I'm not sure what size wheels are on this one. Let me just double check. Yeah, it's a 19-inch front. Not sure on the rear as yet. 17-inch rear. So it handles really nicely. Now my Himalayan runs a 21-inch front, and what I find is as you start to lean into a corner, it doesn't seem to turn very quickly, then all of a sudden it turns, which is probably a 21-inch front wheel. This one handles just the same as a normal road bike with a 17-inch front wheel, or so I find. You know, everything's easy to get to, it's a comfy bike. As I rode in here I stood up and I'm only 5'6", and I was leaning forward, well leaning forward. I'd have to raise those bars about 2 or 3 inches to make it comfortable for me to stand up. So if you're over 6 foot tall, you're going to struggle with the height of the bars. You can be leant too far forward, I think. Again, try it for yourself, please. I can't touch a floor on it, which kind of puts me off. Longer legs, yes, you touch a floor, but then you need longer arms to reach the bars. And as an adventure bike, you're going to want to take it off-road. To me, that's kind of important. I think KTM missed a trick there. They should have fitted higher bars, or taller mounts for the bars, or something. Once again, my opinion. Please don't take it as fact. Just to make it clear, all these videos I do, these reviews, I do off my own back. It's my choice to do them. I'm not sponsored, paid or anything by M&Ps of Cardiff. Mrs Grumps does work for the company, which is partly why I'm doing the reviews, because they offered. They asked me if I'd like to do them. But it's just to be clear, she does work there, but I get nothing out of this other than content for my channel, and obviously it's free advertising for M&Ps in Cardiff. If you want to have a look around their showroom, please go down and have a look. It's behind Selco's on Hadfield Road. As you drive in, you'll see Harley Davidson directly in front of you. KTM, BMW, etc. to the right, and outfitters are behind Harley Davidson and Ducati. I did do a walk around of the BMW showroom in my review of the Royal Enfield Meteor 350, so have a look at that if you want to have a quick looky around the showroom. Me, I'd say go down and have a look yourself. Nothing better than doing something in person. Right, let's go for a ride, and this time we'll see if I can get my audio to work, because so far it's kept playing up and audio's failed every time. So this video might be a bit mixed up, but I'll try and sort it out eventually. Right, catch you in a minute. This video's a bit mixed up. I'm having major problems with audio again. A lot of what I filmed, I had no audio for. Let's carry on listening. Let's see how we get on. Slow speed on this bike, like most singles, is a little bit lumpy. Then if we pop into second, being such a revvy bike, slightly improved, but still quite lumpy. Standing up, no. I'm way too far length forward. My arms are way too short. As I said, I think KTM missed it there. They really should have put taller risers on. Again, my opinion, please try it for yourself. You may find it different. So I am, to a degree, slightly biased on this review. So as I say, please do your own research, test ride the bike for yourself and see what you think. This is what I think based on my ride, like an hour out on the bike. I'm not you. See if we can actually get up to motorway speed here. I haven't yet. There are 70 miles an hour. Wind blast is not too bad. No fairness. We are on 7,000 RPM though, I think, or 6. No, apologies, 6,000 RPM at 70. And there's quite a bit of vibration through the bars. Not very comfortable for me personally. So a quick summary of the KTM 390 Adventure. And I do like adventure bikes. I'm just too short for them, mostly. Yeah. Lovely bike. Great single. Ideal if you want a small capacity adventure bike. Very nice for those who've recently passed a test. They go extremely well. You've got lots of good technology on you. You've got all the ABS, traction control, all that stuff. I'm sure there's more to it than I've discovered. You've got A nice dashboard, a TFT style, I presume it's TFT dash, with all the information on you could ever want. It handles really well. The brakes are great. Even on off-road tyres it handles nicely. It's a cracking bike. The downsides for me personally, and this is only my opinion, the screen is non-adjustable, but then the wind blast hasn't been too bad, so that's neither here nor there really. I find it an extremely revvy engine, which causes quite a bit of vibration through the handlebars, which I don't like personally. Again, it's too tall for me, which may be why I'm a little bit against it. I'm a little bit biased on that sense, so take what I say with a pinch of salt, do your own research, as I say. The suspension I find extremely stiff. As far as I can tell, it's set quite soft. Well, I say soft, it's not set at its hardest settings. And it's still quite hard suspension. And for an adventure bike, I would have thought it'd be a lot softer. And the seat is quite hard as well. You can tell this is a KTM by the fact that they have years and years and years of off-road experience, and this bike clearly has off-road credentials, including the seat. Not sure how I'd cope on it on a long ride. Riding position's okay, except for the height. The handlebars are quite low. As I say, when I stood up, and I'm only 5'6", I found that the bars were too low. I was leant forward. Not something you want when you're stood up off-roading on an adventure bike. So, that is something you want to consider. Once again, a really nice bike. I've had difficulty finding neutral all of a sudden. And if this is what you're into, then go for it. I would strongly recommend you come down to somewhere like Cardiff MPs, for example. Test ride one, see what you think. See if it's your cup of tea. The alternative, like I say, is the Himalayan, which I own, so I am slightly biased. But hopefully it's giving you an idea of what this bike's like. Very nice. Not for me. So massive thanks to M&P again for letting me play around with one of their toys. And I shall catch you again soon in the next video. Take care all. Ride safe and have fun. Bye now.